conception of God is typically a comical image that he conjures up in his mind for his convenience and emotional fulfillment. This idea of God is totally in his control and he is free to use it whatever he pleases. If the moment is not right, he might even package it up and put it in limbo, the place that God holds in the lives of many individuals, even those who make very earnest and honest efforts, is so tenuous that he can be removed at the smallest provocation from without. The love of God that people speak of is frequently a type of pastime for free time, a conversation after dinner when there is nothing more important to do, and we count on such a helpless God to rescue us when we are in real need. Such is both our faith and such is our God. The workman's perfection is the best he can make using the tool at his disposal, and the engineer's God is a massive machine. Strange spots theosis that people's own instinct or brains can project into the universe of space and time include the god of children, businessmen, blacksmiths, goldsmiths, frogs, and buffaloes. And not even the most noble of men can avoid the need to confine his God to the operations of his mind. The greatest sense and ego satisfactions that we are currently capable of imagining. We claim that civilization is decaying, the planet is sinking, and men's hearts are being torn to pieces by an underdefined terror of some terrifying ghost whose whereabouts we have not yet been able to locate adequately. No God that can save man can be made by man. God cannot be viewed as a product, since everything that is produced is prone to deterioration through time and is destined to end one day. What we think in our brains is what our imagination has been able to create. We cannot escape danger with something that is so doomed to be destroyed at some point. The person who will guard us must be more powerful than we are and possess abilities and energy that much above those of a human. If God is to be man's savior, then God should come first. If this is the case, then man cannot conceive of God, since doing so would reduce him to the status of a byproduct of his thought, a something that comes after and not before him, an effect instead of a cause, and inferior to the dignity of a man who requests its protection. The idea of God is thus entangled in the error of putting the cart before the horse, an absurd method of any endeavor having any value in it. To think of God would be to transpose one's position to relation to God, making man the father of God rather than God the father of man. In fact, the scenario is unsettling and terrifying. The gods of the marketplace and the shop of religion, which we often worship, won't be able to save us from his predicament and psychological conclusion. We have become so accustomed to making a machine out of our religious practices that for most of us, religion today consists only of some daily ritual such as rising at a certain time in the morning and going to bed at a set hours, bowing our beds, bowing our heads in a certain way and engaging in fasts, vigils, feasts, pilgrims, and offering before shrines. These rituals are only put back on holiday when we take a break from the realities of life. So, the cat is out of the bag now. Religious attendance is a holiday activity, not a reflection of one's true calling, line of work, or moral obligation. The majority of religious men have historically been miserable. Daily prayers and adorations. Our desire and resentments ought to be allowed to come true as soon as possible. If not right away, God is very great and He does exist if this could be accomplished. Otherwise, we can start to mistrust Him and perhaps reject all He really exists because we do not see the fulfillment of our desires despite our petitions to Him for this. He does not exist. Can human egoism continue to grow? The gods have their heavenly realms when the devil dances to the tune of the intoxicating liquor of sensuality, and the rule of lust, greed, and ego takes control of most of the globe. Many murdered the deity he created. which is exactly how it should be, because, like man himself, he is only one of the countless people who live on the planet. Our God can be found in our temples, churches, and mosques, as well as in our rituals, festivals, and written and spoken words. Yet he never dwells in our hearts. So, if we so choose, we can destroy him, with the idea that God is one of the object of scientific investigation, and we can see God as we see an electron, or better yet, as we see our bank balance or a number. The prejudice of the scientific trend of thinking, which consistently wishes to probe into reality through calculations, experiments, and observations with the senses, and which threatens to exhaust all available means of human knowledge, permitting no other avenue of approach as valid or reasonable, has vanished.